Good evening, viewers. This is the Qtv Nightly News, which is also on Q Radio 103.3 FM, and I am Mamna Buka. Thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. As political maneuvering continues ahead of December's presidential polls, a split appears to have happened within the People's Progressive Party after a faction claimed to have endorsed President Barrow, only to be swiftly rebutted by the IEC-recognized leadership of the party. The Gambia is due to host for the first time the renowned West Africa Food Festival, which will see culinary professionals, policymakers, investors, and food enthusiasts gather in the Gambia this October. The Gambia's Army Chief Major General Usman Gomez paid a courtesy call on Her Excellency Dr. Fatou Bensouda, the Gambia's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Thursday, 6 August 2026 at her office in London. The Children's National Assembly of the Gambia, with funding support from UNICEF, convened its second national sitting, bringing together child representatives from across the country and heard advocates call for their greater inclusion of children in national development matters affecting them. In international news, today, August the 7th, Côte d'Ivoire commemorates 66 years of independence from France, celebrating a journey that has transformed the country into one of West Africa's leading economic powers. Those were the headlines. Coming up next, the news in detail. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Now, 4 months to the much-anticipated December 5th presidential election, political parties are positioning themselves ahead of the polls. During a visit to State House, breakaway faction of the People's Progressive Party, led by Keba Ijalo, has formally declared its support for President Adama Barrow's re-election bid. The move has drawn a strong rebuttal from the IEC-recognized PPP executive, which has distanced itself from the move. Osman Jatta reports.
The race for State House is entering a new phase as political parties weigh their options ahead of the December 5th election. President Adama Barrow's Grand Alliance continues to attract new allies, while internal disputes within the opposition are altering the balance of the political contest. At the State House, a delegation from a breakaway faction of the People's Progressive Party, led by former party leader Keba Ijalo, pledged its support for President Barrow's re-election campaign and promised to mobilize its support ahead of the vote. President Barrow welcomed the endorsement, describing it as a sign of growing political cooperation and a shared commitment to national development. Speaking after the meeting, Keba Ijalo said his faction had resolved to support President Barrow's candidature, expressing confidence that continued collaboration would advance the country's development.
I've decided in full that we will support him and campaign for him to win the forthcoming elections. The reason because he has done so much for this country that we cannot just let it go like that. We have to support him so that his job can continue. My message is for all PPP members to support President Barrow's candidature for the forthcoming elections, and any meaningful Gambian who has seen the development in the country.
The endorsement, however, highlights an ongoing dispute within the People's Progressive Party. While Keba Ijalo's faction had aligned itself with President Barrow, the party leadership under Usman Madike Fall, who is recorded as the party leader by the Independent Electoral Commission, had rejected the endorsement in a strongly worded statement, insisting that the endorsement of President Barrow does not represent the PPP's official position. Like the main opposition party UDP, the PPP, led by Usman Madike Fall, also pulled out of the art-led coalition talks, saying they support a party-led alliance rather than a candidate-led coalition. Meanwhile, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly and Deputy Public Relations Officer of the National People's Party, Sidi Eskenjai, welcomed the decision by the breakaway faction, describing it as a boost to the NPP's Grand Alliance.
We are happy that while His Excellency the President is doing tremendously well for this country. The PPP, under the leadership of Keba Jallow, acknowledges those efforts and vowed to help and campaign and join the Grand Alliance in ensuring that we return His Excellency the President to the State House comes December 5th 2026 presidential elections.
The IEC recognized PPP, led by Usman Madike Fall, had also issued a statement on its Facebook page saying it intends to pursue legal action against Keba Jallow, accusing him of misrepresenting the party's position. The latest developments underscore the Gambia's shifting political landscape as parties and rival factions continue to forge alliances, sometimes making foes of former friends ahead of the December 5th presidential election. Usman Jata, QTV News.
The Gambia is set to make its mark on the regional culinary tourism map as it prepares to host for the first time the West Africa Food Festival WAFest from the 15th to the 21st of October 2026. The festival will bring together culinary professionals, policymakers, investors and food enthusiasts from across Africa and beyond. Loliam Kamara attended the soft launch and fundraising event and filed this report.
The soft launch and fundraising event brought together key stakeholders to build partnerships and mobilize the resources needed to deliver what organizers described as a major celebration of West African food, culture and culinary talent. The event is expected to attract top culinary talent from more than 35 countries, alongside government representatives, development partners, diplomatic missions, investors, tourism stakeholders, and food enthusiasts. The Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture statement was read by the Permanent Secretary, Aminjai Juf.
It provides a platform to display the tourism potential of West Africa, while showcasing innovations in agribusinesses and the creative industries.
Gambian cuisine is deeply rooted in the country's history and cultural identity, with dishes such as benachin, domoda, yassa, and other traditional foods offering visitors a taste of the country's diverse culinary heritage. The Gambia Chefs Association, through its representative, Chef Sehu Bojang, while speaking highly of the upcoming event and eagerly anticipating its success, sets more light on why the Gambia.
This means a lot to us, meaning an opportunity for us to network, an opportunity for us to raise the awareness of our heritage culture, our food, our tradition, and to market our destination Gambia through this event.
The festival also comes as the Gambia seeks to diversify its tourism offer and extend economic opportunities beyond the traditional tourism experience. Thus, hosting the festival could further strengthen its reputation as a destination for cultural and experimental tourism, while creating opportunities for partnerships and investment in the country's growing gastronomy sector. The Director General of the Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute, Momodu Singante, while pledging on behalf of his institution, stated that they see WAFest as an opportunity to inspire their students, empower communities, and position the Gambia as a hub for cultural exchange and innovation.
We are pledging, in addition to providing, that is the technical support and backup that we'll be giving, on behalf of the Institute GTHI, I want to pledge a cash donation of $50,000.
We also had pledges from NCAC, ITC, and Yaboy Home Cooking.
We will, contribute financially, and also be rest assured that our spaces and cultural groups will be at the disposal of the organizing committee.
We are pledging, and that is in addition to the $10,000 we already paid for the branding and marketing. We are pledging $35,000.
We're going to invite all the chefs for a day at the Ivory Home Cooking.
Doubtless, a key feature of this, as with every West African food fest, will be the matter of who makes the best jollof rice. As preparations continue, stakeholders say the success of WAFest 2026 will depend not only on staging a memorable festival, but also on ensuring that the opportunities it creates translate into lasting benefits for Gambian businesses, young people, and the wider tourism industry. For QTV News, Loliam Kamara.
The Gambia's Army Chief, Major General Usman Gomez, paid a courtesy call on Her Excellency Dr. Fatou Bensouda, the Gambia's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Thursday, 6 August 2026 at her office in London. Mamadou Gajaga has the details.
According to a post on the High Commission's official Facebook page, CDS Gomez acknowledged that visiting Gambian diplomatic missions has been a long-standing tradition of the Gambia Armed Forces whenever they are on official travel abroad, and that he was committed to continue that tradition. CDS Gomez also paid tribute to Dr. Bensouda for what he calls her distinguished service to the Gambia and the international community, saying that her contributions in various national leadership roles, including judiciary, the Department of Public Prosecutions, and as Solicitor and Attorney General, and her outstanding service to the International Criminal Court ICC, describing Madam Bensouda as a proud daughter of the nation. Her Excellency Dr. Bensouda expressed confidence in the leadership of CDS Usman Gomez and said her appreciation at receiving the Army Chief and his delegation. She reaffirmed the mission's commitment to supporting and facilitating the work of the Gambia Armed Forces in collaboration with the British High Commission in Banjul. Madam Bensouda will accompany CDS Usman Gomez to the 253rd Sovereign's Parade at the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst, on Saturday, the 8th of August, where Gambian officer Cadet Omar Toure will participate. The occasion marks the final passing out ceremony for officer cadets completing their 44-week commissioning course. Held 3 times a year, the historic event takes place on the Old College Parade Square, featuring trooping the colour and a royal salute. During his visit, Major General Gomez is also expected to hold further official engagements and interact with members of the Gambian community in the United Kingdom. Mamadou Gajaga, Qtv News.
That report by Mamadou Gajaga will take us on a commercial break. When we return, we have more national and international news stories. Do stay tuned.
Important news for prospective pilgrims. Ajib Bank Limited, in collaboration with the Gambia International Airlines (GIA), has officially commenced the collection of deposit payments for the 2027 Hajj pilgrimage. Intending pilgrims planning to perform the holy journey with the nation's premier travel operator can now secure their spots early. The initial deposit required to register for the 2027 Hajj package is $400,000. Payments can be made at any Ajib Bank branch nationwide. After making your deposit, remember to present your bank payment slip to the Gambia International Airlines offices to update your records and finalize your registration. As seats are allocated on a first-come, first-served basis, early registration is strongly encouraged to guarantee your spot for this sacred journey. For further details on registration requirements and account information, visit your nearest Ajib Bank branch or contact the Gambia International Airlines Hajj Secretariat.
In today's world, speed matters, but slow internet can hold you back. Now, the future of connectivity has arrived in the Gambia. QCell's Q-Fiber, ultra-fast, ultra-reliable internet designed for the way you live. Stream your favorite shows without buffering. Power your business with seamless video calls. Study, work, and play online like never before. From homes to businesses, QCell Fiber is connecting the Gambia to the future. QCell's Q-Fiber. Get connected today. Call 145 or 300-3779. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News and I am Mamna Buka. Now on to the rest of our stories. The Children's National Assembly of the Gambia, with funding support from UNICEF, convened its second national sitting, bringing together child representatives from across the country to discuss issues affecting children and advocate for their inclusion in national development. Jacqueline Coley attended and Sheena reports.
The Children's National Assembly is a non-statutory platform established to provide children and adolescents with a safe space to meet, deliberate and discuss issues affecting them. The platform also creates an avenue for children to engage policymakers, lobby for their concerns and advance issues affecting children for consideration in the development plan of the Gambia. The second yearly extraordinary sitting was held under the theme Investment, Accountability and Participation for Every Child. Binta Fatajo, representing the North Bank region, moved the motion on the theme drawing attention to the need for greater investment in children and stronger accountability in the implementation of policies and programs designed for their benefit.
Investment in children is an investment in the future of our nation. When governments, communities, and development partners and families invest in quality education, healthcare, nutrition and health protection, and social welfare, children are empowered to become healthy, productive, and responsible citizens who contribute positively to national development.
Other representatives also raised concerns on various sectors including education, health, sexual and gender-based violence, and more. Sukai Bojang, representing the West Coast region, Khadija Tudabo from the North Bank region, and Mariama Antaseka from the Central River region highlighted the various issues children face and stressed the importance of ensuring that children are included in decisions that affect their lives. The representatives called for greater recognition of children's voices and meaningful participation in the development of policies and programs, emphasizing that children should not only be beneficiaries of development but active participants in shaping it. Here is Ms. Nafisa Binte Shafiq, the country representative of UNICEF in the Gambia, and CDS Genjai.
Before anything else, we should celebrate what this gathering represents. The Gambia stands out in our region for creating and sustaining a national platform where children can speak freely about issues that are affecting their lives, and where senior duty bearers, including honorable ministers, are ready to listen, respond, and act. This is a culture of child participation worth celebrating, protecting, and strengthening.
Our gathering here today is a definitive demonstration that Parliament is not merely a theater where laws are enacted. It is a sacred space where voices are heard, diverse ideas are debated, and the very future of a nation is meticulously shaped.
The second national sitting therefore provides an opportunity for young representatives to bring their experiences and concerns to the national level while strengthening dialogue between children and policymakers. Fatu Sanyang Kinte is the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Welfare.
To the Children National Assembly, I want to recommend, if you don't already have that, is to have select committees, as we do have in the main National Assembly. A select committee on gender, children and social welfare, select committee on health, select committee on human rights. And not only to have the select committees, but to make sure that periodically you go around the country to see what is existing on the ground.
The Assembly is expected to continue advocating for a child-centered approach to development, where investment in children is matched by accountability and meaningful participation. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jacqueline Collie.
Next up is international news. Today, August the 7th, Côte d'Ivoire commemorates 66 years of independence from France, celebrating a journey that has transformed the country into one of West Africa's leading economic powers. While political tensions and dependence on agriculture remain important national challenges. This report by Babukar Sise is narrated by Aissatou Kamara.
Côte d'Ivoire gained independence from French colonial rule on August 7, 1960, with Félix Houphouët-Boigny, a leading figure in the independence movement, becoming the country's first president. Houphouët-Boigny governed for more than 3 decades, pursuing close economic and diplomatic relations with France. His presidency was associated with political stability and strong agricultural growth, particularly in cocoa and coffee, which helped establish Côte d'Ivoire as an economic center in West Africa. Today, the country remains the world's leading cocoa producer and a major producer of cashew nuts. agriculture continues to provide livelihoods for millions, while the government is seeking to expand processing and reduce dependency on exporting raw commodities. The country has become a significant center for cashew processing, with processed exports exceeding 330,000 tons. Economically, Côte d'Ivoire has maintained strong growth over the past decade. The World Bank says real GDP grew by 6% in 2024, while the International Monetary Fund expects growth of about 6% in 2026. Expansion in services, private investment, hydrocarbons and mining is supporting the economy. However, challenges remain. The economy is still vulnerable to fluctuations in global commodity prices and climate change, particularly because of its reliance on cocoa and the concentration of economic activity along the coast. Politically, President Alassane Ouattara secured a fourth term in the October 2025 presidential election with more than 89% of the vote. However, major opposition figures were excluded from the contest, while protests and arrests raised concerns over political competition and democratic inclusion. As Côte d'Ivoire celebrates independence, its priorities include preserving political stability, strengthening democratic institutions, creating jobs, diversifying the economy, and ensuring that agricultural wealth translates into broader prosperity. For QTV News, this is Aissatou Kamara.
Also in international news, clothing factories in KwaZulu-Natal, a major manufacturing center in South Africa's KwaZulu-Natal province, are struggling with labor shortages after migrant workers fled the area during a wave of anti-immigrant protests and threats. Here is Lanisa Gomez.
South Africa has experienced repeated outbreaks of xenophobic violence since the end of apartheid. One of the most serious episodes occurred in 2008, when attacks against migrants spread across the country, leaving more than 60 people dead and forcing thousands from their homes. Foreign nationals have since continued to face discrimination, intimidation, and periodic attacks, often amid public anger over unemployment, poverty, and competition for jobs and services. The latest tensions intensified in 2026, with the anti-immigrant group March and March blaming undocumented migrants for South Africa's high unemployment rate. The group issued a June 30th deadline for undocumented migrants to leave the country. As protests and threats increase, many migrants reportedly closed their businesses, abandoned their homes, and left their workplaces. Some sought refuge in neighboring countries, while others moved to safer areas within South Africa. The Southern African Clothing and Textile Workers Union estimates that about 50% of Newcastle's 15,000 textile workers left during the protests. Factory owners said they lost between 12 and 19% of their workforce. Some of those who left were experienced mechanists and garment workers whose skills are difficult to replace. Some of those who left were experienced mechanists and garment workers whose skills are difficult to replace. Employers say they mainly hire South Africans but depend on skilled workers from neighboring Lesotho and Eswatini because of their experience in the clothing industry. However, the workers' union dispute claims of a skills shortage, arguing that many qualified South Africans are available but unwilling to accept low-paying factory jobs. That situation highlights the difficult balance facing South Africa. Efforts to create jobs for citizens through tougher actions against undocumented migrants are also disrupting industries that rely on migrants' labor. Factory owners warn that if labor shortages, weak orders, and rising costs continue, more factories could close, potentially resulting in even greater job losses for South Africans. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lenisa Gomez.
That report brings us to the end of this bulletin, but before we go, here's a recap of the headlines. As political maneuvering continues ahead of December's presidential polls, a split appears to have happened within the People's Progressive Party after a faction claimed to have endorsed President Barrow only to be swiftly rebutted by the IEC-recognized leadership of the party. The Gambia is due to host for the first time the renowned West Africa Food Festival, which will see culinary professionals, policymakers, investors, and food enthusiasts gather in the Gambia this October. The Gambia's Army Chief Major General Ousmane Gomez paid a courtesy call on Her Excellency Dr. Fatou Bensouda, the Gambia's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Thursday, 6th August 2026 at her office in London. The Children's National Assembly of the Gambia, with funding support from UNICEF, convened its second national sitting, bringing together child representatives from across the country and had advocates call for their greater inclusion of children in national development matters affecting them. In international news, today, August the 7th, Côte d'Ivoire commemorates 66 years of independence from France, celebrating a journey that has transformed the country into one of West Africa's leading economic powers. That's all for this bulletin. Join us again at 8 p.m. tomorrow for another bulletin. Thank you for watching.